What is up, guys? Vern's here, back again with another Supercoach video. This week was massive, and I am so hyped for the outcome. So we had a round rank of 82. It was insane. 2,607 for our score this week. We went up 288 places to 379. So we've hit the top 500. So just absolutely insane. Such a massive week. I knew I was in for a big week when I'm looking around at everyone, and I'm seeing a lot of people scoring about 2,400 or so, and I'm just miles ahead. Obviously, coming in with a round rank of 82, I ended up winning all my leagues, which was really nice for the first week of finals. Means that I just jumped straight into the semis, and I don't have to worry about the day cost drama, I guess, this week to a degree. Obviously, we play for overall, but it's just nice to, I guess, get that in the back pocket, because it's always something to play towards at the end of the season. But yeah, I'm just stoked. I can't believe the score. Massive score. A lot of things went right. There's always more points that you could have got here or there, but I really can't complain because my players just went off. I mean, look, it's a very similar score to last week. At the end of the day, the biggest thing here was my players performed again, where a lot of the antipods didn't. Tim English actually got outscored by both my rucks this week. We had Steele with a down game. We had Houston with a down game. Like, we had a lot of these antipods that, well, not even antipods, but commonly owned players that just aren't in my team, and they just didn't fire this week, and we managed to come out with a massive week because of it. So I was super stoked with that. Darcy Cameron was another one. So look, unfortunate pies went down, but like, my Supercoach week was insane, and I'm so happy for it. So we'll jump into it, see how the team went. So here we go. So we've got, basically, starting from the back line, we can see that Dacos comes out with the 41, but not being in our captain, Luke, everyone having him, it's not a problem. It sucks that now he's out for 6 weeks. Rest of the Supercoach season, he's gone, and we don't have any trades, so we're just going to have to tank Dacos for the rest of the season, and hopefully we can still manage to maybe win some finals and at least hold that top 500 that we just managed to snag. Sicily came out with a massive 166. I did mention that I think he'd have a big one against the Pies because we just give up points to intercept defenders, and it was honestly what I was actually looking at changing my captain to when Merritt was, 80 points, third quarter, and it's not looking good. I was thinking, okay, I'm going to roll the dice with Sicily here. Next thing we know, Merritt comes out with a 60-point final quarter, and it's like, well, I can't not take a 143, so obviously I take that instead. Hindsight, obviously, Sicily ends up outscoring that, but we're never not going to take the 143. We also messed up our loops this week to a degree. I mean, Keys dropped an 80. We couldn't loop, so we just had to blind in who we thought would perform. So we went Sheasel over Keys, and we lost 24 points there. I mean, look, Sheasel over Keys, my reasoning for going Sheasel into Melbourne is Melbourne has been giving up points to midfielders if Sheasel ended up there, and if he ends up playing in the back line, then Melbourne are going to torch them, the ball's going to live down there. Obviously, that was my reasoning for it. That's why I thought it would be fine, but it just didn't end up. That just didn't end up working that way, which was really unfortunate. But yeah, good backline scores. I mean, look, they weren't great, but I mean, Dawson's highly owned, Sinclair's highly owned. Day, that's good enough for Day. We'll take that. And then Stewart comes out with a massive one as well. Now, the other place that people probably got a little bit of points on me is the Bont and Libba. I did have some leagues where my head-to-head, they went for the VC on Libra and definitely gained some points there. I mean, only 16, but still a bit. A lot of people probably went for the Bont VC, but as I said, we're not unhappy with the 143. I mean, if this was a 120 and we're losing 30, 40 points on the captaincy option, maybe I'm a bit upset, but look, he got a 143, Merritt did, and we're pretty happy with that. Track obviously came out with a big final quarter there, managed to get to a 125, which was awesome. Led a bit of a down game, and then the two Frio boys doing massive work for us. So the 124 and the 126, I think, really pushed us over the line for a big game this week. Obviously, with our team, the biggest thing, I guess, for us is there's a lot of commonly owned players, and we do have a few pods. Libba being one of them, Sarong being one of them, Sicily being one of them, Butters being one of them, McRae being another one, Briggs being another one, but like, out of the 6 I just named there, 5 of them went 120 plus. Like, they went massive this week, all my pods, as to why we sort of ran away with a big week. So that was just honestly really awesome from my team. Look, it's going to be a pretty quick video because there's really not much to go over there. As I mentioned, I won all my leagues, so if you're in those leagues and you did play me last week, bad luck. But yeah, I'm still so hyped from a massive week from us getting to that top 500. But we'll quickly just talk about moving forward. Obviously, Dacos jumps onto the bench here. and then we swing Sheasel into the back line. So look, having the 23rd premium, it sucks because obviously, bringing at least we have another premium here at least. But for people who hulled a trade or only ran 22 and hulled trades, it means that they're moving Dacos onto a Doherty. Maybe they can upgrade as far as a Sicily. They're going to a Dawson, things like that. They're going to these other premiums that they don't own, where we sort of have to be pushed into having, instead of having the loophole for Sheasel Keys, we end up just playing them both on field. So they were probably going to lose some points there each week. As I said, hopefully we can hold the top 500 for now, but I guess that's how the team's going to look going forward. Marek at least is still playing, so at least we've still got some cover there. We got a little bit of cover with Fletcher if he holds his spot. He did obviously end up being the sub in this game, so, and then Davey was also the sub that came on for Essendon. So we're pretty lacking in cover now, so we really need to hope nobody goes down in the back line at this stage. Hopefully nobody goes down in the midfield or the rucks. I don't want anyone to go down anyway, but if someone does, preferably the forward line, because Marek seems to be the better cover out of any other line I have. So hopefully no one goes down, and hopefully we can just run this team for the rest of the season, and hopefully we're not going to bleed too many points. Another antipod actually I just thought of off the top of my head, which I should have brought up, was Dunkley had a really poor game. Obviously dropping in 77. Butters outscores him by 60 points this week. So I mentioned Butters, the trade-in for Butters didn't really work. We only netted like 45 points and we lost the trade. Now with the 60-point increase from Butters this week, it's about 105 points ahead of Dunkley. So 3 weeks for Dunkley to make that up. I guess the other thing to consider is the points that I'm losing for not going a sideways trade. I think if I had Dacos right now, I'd probably be sidewaysing to Doherty. So maybe compare Doherty to the rest of the run home, because obviously, if I didn't side with Dunkley to Butters, yes, I lose 105 points and my score's a bit worse this week, but what it means is I can actually trade Dacos this week to Doherty, and then that's where points would have been gained. So not only do we have to, I guess, monitor Butters versus Dunkley to see if this works out, we also have to monitor if, Doherty versus Sheasel or Keys, the combo, to see how that sort of net difference the points there. But yeah, we'll jump into the captains. Vice captain this week, I think, is Stewart. I think that honestly just is pretty big for most people, in the sense that Sicily just towed us up for a 166. We don't tag. I wouldn't be surprised if Stewart comes out with another good game. Last time he played us, obviously he got injured and got the 18 straight away. And I think we can definitely afford, it's later in the season, you can feel free to put a more variance player as the VC, and I think Stewart will be perfectly fine to put in this week. Jumping forward, though, into the captains, this is where I think it gets a little bit hard. Merritt last time blew up against North, but then got tagged by Shields, which kept him down. So I don't really want to go for Merritt. Goulden's obviously been a yo-yo, so he's only really a VC option. So you can always look at him for a VC if you don't want to go for Stewart or anything like that. Sydney also give up a lot of points, so I think Noah Anderson, Miller, or Rao, I would only ever look at a VC for those players, but they would be potential options. Brisbane, Adelaide, I think is not bad. I mean, look, Neil and Dunkley both had down weeks, so it's a bit hard to choose. Saying that both the Freo boys had massive games, so maybe Laird and Dawson could be looked at, but then saying that they also had down weeks this week as well, so it's really hard to, I think, pick someone in that game because of it. But I mean, if I had to pick one, oh man, I'd probably go with Dawson. Saying that as a Dunkley owner, saying that I wouldn't feel confident seeing these players with how they've been. I would definitely be looking at a VC there. So if you're not happy with any of these 3 games to start off with, and you want to VC someone in the Brisbane-Adelaide game, I think that's perfectly fine. Melbourne into Carlton. Carlton just held DC to a pretty low score, but Gawn's a completely different player, so I think I'd feel fine with Gawn there. I don't know about Track. Maybe Track. Look, I don't think I'd go Track in this game. It's hard to choose. And then we got West Coast Freo. I mean, this is where the Freo boys come in. They could be very good here. Merritt obviously just held up West Coast. We know Brayshaw's history against them, and Sarong's just been absolute fire. They did play them earlier in the year. I just want to see what their scores were earlier. Yeah, Sarong dropped a 146, and I'm pretty sure Brayshaw's score would have been pretty average because he was pretty bad early in the season. Yeah, 84. So maybe Sarong could be the C option. And then looking at the final games of the week, Hawks have actually not been too bad at, they've been pretty good at restricting midfielders from scoring. I don't know, I mean, obviously they have the McGuinness tag, and that's the scariest thing ever playing into Hawks, because if whoever he's going to is getting shut out of that game. Is he going to go to Libba and keep him out? Is he going to go to Bont? I reckon he's most likely going to go to Libba, which is probably going to hurt me a lot this week. And then Bont matches up on Nash. He's obviously a much better player than Nash, but Nash is that big defensive mid as well, so he could definitely hold Bont down. So, I mean, that feels like a scary game to be putting a C on, in my opinion. Jumping down to St Kilda Richmond, I mean, Richmond have Nank back. Could you look at Marshall? In the last 2 weeks, Richmond have given up points. Let's see, English only got up to 115 on them. Was it last week they played, right? I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, English only dropped to 115 on them. Gorn obviously dropped a massive score on them, the 170. Could you look at Marshall? Maybe. I mean, Gorn dropped the 170, but without Nank. Nank comes back and English only gets a 115, so maybe not Marshall there. Could you look at Steele? I mean, I wouldn't ever look at Steele as a C option, and with games this late, you'd have to look at a C option. So this looks like a hard game to pick. And then finally into the Port and GWS game, another game that's really hard to pick, just in the sense that GWS have been very restrictive for midfield scoring. I'm pretty sure last week they did let the opponent's midfielder score quite handsomely, though. So yeah, we had Goulden with a 120. He was actually held restrictive for most of the game and only got off the lead at the very end there. So yeah, look, honestly, a really hard week to choose for captains, in my opinion. I think I'm going to stick strong with probably just Stewart into Sarong. That's probably what I'm going to go there. But look, I think there's plenty of VC options, but it feels hard picking a captain option. I mean, look, you're probably disagreeing with me. You probably think picking one of the dogs into Hawks is fine. I think Bont's pretty safe at the end of the day to be a captain option. I mean, did they play Hawks earlier in the year? Probably did. Yeah, they did. And he dropped to 122. So look, Bont's pretty safe for a backup captain option, but I'm going to personally roll the dice here, go with Sarong into this, and then I'm also going to go Stewart into Collingwood, see what happens there. So yeah, good luck to everyone for this week. I mean, as I said, I'm not playing any finals, so this is really just me playing for an overall score, which I play for every week at the end of the day. But yeah, good luck for everyone again, and I guess I'll catch you all next week. So peace, later.